of 5 years of doing comic book hauls for you all. Technically, really, when the channel officially started to be normalized. So, just kind of cool to sit back and think about that. But, yeah, I'll go through my books, and then we got some Kickstarter items to show off about midway through. And then we will get back into the rest of the haul and all that good stuff. So, first we have the Harley Quinn 30th Anniversary Special #1. This is the Bruce Timm cover, which is like, you know, for me, the essential one you have to get. He's the co-creator. So we've got all of our talent here, and I actually read through most of this haul that I have before me for you all today. So, yeah, this is fun. It's just kind of a mishmash of different talents and things. A lot of people who have done work on the character in the past. And yeah, it was really enjoyable. I wish I had seen something more in the way of the animated Batman style. Aside from the cover, there's not really any indication of that particular era, which was kind of a misstep, although there is a story written by Paul Dini in here. Oh, and another thing I loved is they have the all the covers are spread out in here, so you didn't need to go buy every single one of the different covers, which might be a first for what they've done here. And then we've got this lovely Stefan Subject art in here. I was so glad to see their work in here. I think they're a great artist. But yeah, really glad they were in here. That's probably honestly my favorite one. We get some Riley Rossmo stuff, which it's an acquired taste. I'm not a big fan of Riley's style, although initially in here they had her in the Harley suit and it looked better here. His style looked better. Then when he switched it to this weird, that huge mouth and all this, which it's still present in the other, but it just feels like it's better in this form. So, and then there was let's see here. So I liked this realistic style in here too, and I guess this is actually primer to a like a mini series coming out. It's like a Criminal Minds story about Harley discovering poison ivy. So they're like trying to blame the Joker for these murders here because of the facial paralysis looking like grimaces, and Harley's able to deduce that it's not the Joker who did this, but a botanist, and then they go on. So that was a really cool story. And then we have a little Gotham City Sirens story in here, so that was fun. And then this is like a random story of some coming series, which this one I didn't care for too much. And then I think this is the one that Paul Dini wrote here. So this is like a Suicide Squad story. And I think they just straight up call it like the last Harley Quinn story. Yeah, I really liked this guy's style too. Just because when you look closer, it looks like it's like they just used colored pencil on this. So I'm not sure if that's how they did it, but it was just kind of unique. You know, it's definitely a very cutesy style and stuff, but I just liked kind of the uniqueness of it. I've seen them do like some Teen Titans covers and things like this. I really like this image here. And then we get some nice Dodson artwork in here too, and I loved his run. He did like the initial run for Harley Quinn, ushering her into the normal DC continuity. So I thought that was kind of pitch perfect that they threw him in there. and that's the parting story. So I got this version, and then I got the Art Germ variant, which is a twist on the Batman Adventures Harley Quinn's first appearance cover. So pretty nice. Next, I got this Street Fighter Masters Chun-Li comic, and so they had the free comic book day one with Blanca, and I would love to see more. I don't see that they're having more of these come out. They might just be trickled around, but I absolutely loved the style in this. They're, obviously very beautifully drawn women in here. It kind of reminds me a lot of John Boy's style. So I just thought it was really well done. And then, we've got Cammy in here. Cammy and Chun-Li are like my favorites, so it's cool to see them in here. And yeah, everyone is just kind of beautifully drawn. Which, I mean, they know their demographic. There's a lot of men reading this, so it's slightly piggish, I know, but it's whatever. It's entertainment. And then, yeah, she puts on her classic suit here. Gratuitous butt shot. And yeah, so there's a little fight here. And then, yeah, the story plays out. And then in the back there is the same thing they had with, in the Blanca one, it shows all the different, character concepts, which is really cool. So I hope they do more of these. I saw there's a promo for the Sagat Origins book in here, but that's a different title, so I'm not sure that falls under the same thing or not. But if they keep doing more of the Masters things, I'd like to get them. And if I see the Sagat one, I might get it. But I just like specifically that the Masters line, it shows the concept art and stuff of the characters is pretty cool. Next we have a very twisted Batman One Bad Day Two-Face. This was the base cover, but I love it. Two-Face is one of my favorite Batman villains. So this was a very twisted story, just kind of involving Two-Face attempting to do something that's just kind of messed up. So I don't want to spoil anything, as I think this just came out this week or something like that. But yeah, I really like this book. The art's good. The story is good. Everything about it, it's, a much more darker tale than you would typically read. And I thought it was well done all around. So, highly recommend this one. Next we have World's Finest, number 7. This little card stock there. And this starts a brand new arc here, which it's more or less about this kid here coming into Batman and Superman's reality, kind of abandoned and doomed from his time into this time, and him adjusting with it. So yeah, it's the same creative team and everything like that, and this just continues to be a well done series. I just really enjoy it. I like seeing Batman and Superman interact, and then the tone is slightly lighter. I mean, it's not all just straight up dark black, the usual Batman environment. And yeah, it's just kind of neat. So next we have Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, number 2. And this book was crazy. I'm sure if you haven't picked up Deceased, you already know by now. I've said enough good things about it. So this continues on, where the virus has infected even more prominent people in the DC character lineup. And some crazy stuff happens. The book ends with a bang, and we're in issue number 2, so definitely pick it up if you haven't. Solid art, solid story. We see a possessed dark side, and that's really all you need right there. And we have Action Comics number 1047, which I was kind of annoyed I didn't know the base cover was the cover that I liked more. The shop always holds the variant covers for me, so I'm actually going to go back and buy the regular cover. It looks like the George Reeves Superman. So then we get some beautiful Federici art on here. So anytime he's on a book, I absolutely love it. And we get Metallo in here, which he is one of my favorite Superman villains. Just kind of the whole intricate robot metalworks thing. And we see he's just kind of a shell of his former self. But yeah, this book continues to be great. Superman is now back. He has returned from Warworld, and it's just kind of dealing with the repercussions of what he's done and the promise he made to those people. He does have some, like, people seeking asylum on Earth and all these sorts of things. So he's talking to the UN. The story continues to move forward. And then you see he's got like a Superboy and Steel and stuff with him too now. So that's pretty cool. So it'll be fun to see if they do more stuff with them. And then of course you've got Lex being a creep on the sidelines. Then we have the Beyond the White Knight number 5. This is the J. Scott Campbell cover. We can do a little trace here of Harley's outline here in her gray suit. This just continues to be a fun book. If you like Sean Murphy, of course you like this. So some really important stuff happens in here too. Once again, I really don't want to spoil anything, but a plot point that's been going is basically Joker, or Jack Napier now, has been helping Bruce in his consciousness. If I remember, Jack hasn't even been alive since the first Murphyverse story. But Joker is helping Bruce kind of figure things out, because he's operating off the grid and stuff. He was supposed to be in prison and all these things, and so he is trying to set stuff straight in the shadows. And yeah, it's just fun. Then we have Batman Fortress number 5. And so things are still kind of moving at a snail's pace in this issue, unfortunately. It's more or less Batman continuing to gather a team to deal with finding out where Superman is and what needs to be done. So there's a really drawn out opening here. We don't even see Batman here until page 4, with a failed date from Aqualad. I think that's his name. That's what I always think of him as anyway. But yeah, so Batman's trying to recruit different heroes to help him with this crazy mission to find out what's going on with Superman. So next we'll move on to a few of the Kickstarter items here. first we have the Pieces of Turtles 8.2. And so this is the behind the scenes of when Cerebus met up with the Ninja Turtles. We have a nice Dave Sim signature there. And I was number 19, backer 19. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so this continues on, just kind of showing the process. And I believe Dave Sim said they will put like a full book out, but it's more or less like this is kind of the making of the book. So yeah, we see some Eastman and Laird early photos there. Some Cerebus stuff there. Some turtles. My favorite image they show in a moment here is this one. We got the Eastman art and then Dave Sim's art in the middle, him there with the turtle's gear on. So yeah, I absolutely love that. And then there's their signatures. So this was a print that they did in 2012. They did 360 of these signed. So pretty neat. And then there's the image for the cover y'all saw. And then there's like a little write-up there. Kevin corresponding to Dave there. And I think a letter back, or no, that's still Kevin writing to Dave. And then a little party invite. So, yeah, pretty cool. But the next thing I'm super proud to have been a part of, so they put out a documentary about Mike Mignola called Drawing Monsters, I believe. And so yeah, this slipcase is an exclusive to Kickstarter backers. I believe we even have a credit in the film, like, you know, during the credits. I don't know if it's a special thanks or whatever. But then this image I have on a gray t-shirt that you were able to get for the campaign, which I'm currently wearing. But I'm not going to pop it out. It's just without this, it's this, just a static image. See? And then the discs, one is the color, and then one has the black and white. And it's got like the feature film and then extras and stuff, so, but I didn't just get this with it packed in. So it came with a bunch of bonus items too, so we had like a little part of a game card here. Deck of Doom. And there is a sticker. And then there's tons of these little postcards, different images here, so I think you could get full-blown prints of these too. So these are all done by different artists and stuff. And then a few of them are actually signed too. Here's a Peterson one. I love Peterson's work. The mouse guard guy. There's a Tim Sale one there. Nice. There's a Omic one. And there's a Mignola himself one there. And so yeah, a few of these. We see it looks like a KH, so I don't know, maybe Keith Harper. That really looks like Jim Lee's, but that makes no sense on this. So I'm not sure. And then see this one signed too. So that signature looks the same. And then I don't know and then the rest aren't signed. So kind of weird, but kind of cool too. And yeah, they're legit postcards, so you can mail them off if you wanted to. And then there's a fold-out poster of the full box art, which I'm not gonna fold out because you already saw the image. So now we move on to stack number 2. Okay, we have Comics number 1064. So this continues the opera theme. I love like the bone music notes there. It's a really nice touch. And honestly, I don't remember a lot happening in this issue, unfortunately, so they're still kind of moving with the cool concept of just kind of some more unique visuals and ideas and stuff, but as far as like anything that really stood out, I couldn't think of much, honestly, so it's not to say it wasn't enjoyable, but then I got Superman Space Age Book 2, and this is about Superman, mainly during the 70s here. It opens immediately with him fighting a pimp here and sending him to New Mexico. And I think this is kind of like a nod to, I think it was Superman 3, when he's on the street and a pimp compliments him on his outfit. He's like, hey man, nice outfit or whatever. And so I think that was their way of referencing it and being like, people who said, dude, Superman would not talk nicely to that guy. He would, punch him or whatever. So, but yeah, so this issue really deals with Superman trying to figure out what it is he's doing. He has an interview with Lois, and she's kind of keeps asking him the hard questions about how long can we count on him to protect us before, he suddenly becomes a danger, and he keeps referencing, well, I just saved the Earth from an asteroid and all this stuff. Batman says we're so focused on space that we're not seeing what's going on around us, all the poverty and how bad the gangs and stuff have gotten. And so more or less like the Justice League, even though they just met, like they're not all on the same page. Everyone's like, dude, what are we really doing here, It seems more like a clubhouse than an actual place where anything is being done. And so, yeah, it deals with that, and then just kind of some history-related events at the time and things like that. So, yeah, it continues to be a solid book, and it's just 3 parts to it, so one more left. Then we have Dark Crisis, Young Justice, number 4. And, yeah, we get to kind of how everything has been happening in this issue. So for the past 3 issues, Young Justice has been trying to figure out why everything is like it is. And there is a big reveal at the end, so that's pretty cool. And it's been, it's been a fine story, but it still doesn't quite scratch the same itch as the original, but at least we're seeing, the old team back together type of thing, so that I can appreciate. And I'm assuming the sales on this have been good enough to justify them actually putting out the final volume of Young Justice at the end of the year, so that'll be nice to finally have the full series collected into trades. As I've said, it was one of those that I was trying to reacquire. And so then Nightwing number 96. Once again, some big things happening in this book too. And right at the end of the last issue into here, we deal with him knowing, Blockbuster knows that Dick Grayson is Nightwing. And so that's the piece they're dealing with now in the book, and it's pretty crazy. And yeah, a lot of action in this, a lot of stuff happens. And yeah, once again, big finish. And we see some great combat there. I love it. I love when a book gets it right. When you can see just the energy. Next we have the Armageddon game, and unfortunately this is where my reading stopped. I read mostly everything, but yeah, this is the, event for the Turtles right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if after all this they will wrap this series. No one has said anything. But I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than Splinter, or rather the Shredder, working with the Turtles to take down the main threat that's been kind of sprinkled throughout the series. Like the Rat King and all of like the godly entities and stuff. So yeah, this is if you were on the fence during some of the Mutant City stuff, it has certainly picked back up. And you need to get these if you haven't been. Now this next book I read right out of the store, actually this is the Evanescence. Echoes from the Void #2. And I wasn't aware, maybe even the other one, Blake Northcott, is writing these. So, but yeah, this particular one is more or less about a woman who is in a tough situation, where her boyfriend or fiance is just kind of defeated and kind of drag her down with him, and she's, deals with it with, looks like pills, and maybe taking too many pills. And so this story is about her freeing herself from the dependence of needing so many pills, I guess. Because the medication certainly has its place, but if you're taking too much of it, then that's where there's an issue. So I'm not a doctor or a health professional or anything like that, but that's the takeaway I got from it here, was her freeing herself from, reaching for the pills every time as the answer. And then there's a secondary story in here, which honestly I don't really know the point of this particular story, but I liked the other one a lot. And then we have Scorched at #10. I'll probably honestly stop talking about Scorched on here. Because it's an okay book, but it looks like some cool stuff's happening now, but it's really just kind of had like side stuff going on in it. So it's not essential to read it to get the main things going on in Spawn. This issue looks like it's got some cool things though. But the other issues have just kind of dragged for me, so I'm just making sure that I stay current on all the Spawn goings on. And we have Gunslinger. Opens with a pretty brutal image there. And yeah, this is a solid book. I do like Gunslinger. Still, King Spawn is the best out of the new Spawn universe books for sure. But this is a very close second. Brett Booth does well with his style, so I'm glad he is staying on the book. And then we got this nice Action Comics #1 facsimile here. So I already have the one from back in the day. I think I might have the Loot Crate one, but I know they put out a few of them since then. But yeah, so this is a faithful recreation of that comic as it came out. So, and then it even has some more, I guess, but it has some culturally unacceptable things in it. And so they've got their disclaimer in here where it says, hey, this was written at a time when racism played a larger role, right down here. In society and popular culture, both consciously and unconsciously, is presented here without altercation for historical reference. So I can appreciate the fact that this is a faithful recreation. And there's still that side note of, yes, we're acknowledging this is how it was. That doesn't make it right, but this is the book as it was presented in that time. So you get a true glimpse at the full book without having to crack open your slab or whatever. No way anyone would physically touch that comic and go through it. Although I think there was a random ASMR video where a guy went through his, but I could be mistaken, but I think I saw that. So next we got Judgment Day number 5. And these I haven't read, but I think this is the conclusion. So we've got like the Celestials have come, the Judge, Earth in general. And so he's trying to judge through its defenders, you know, the Avengers and all this sort of stuff. And then just the world as a whole. And I know, for instance, Captain America was deemed as unworthy. And so when you say that, that's already pretty crazy. So I was pretty hacked off with that to begin with. So, but that was unexpected, so I'll give them credit for that. But it's more or less like, oh, he's the leader of America, and America has a lot of issues, and so he doesn't pass. But it's like a leader can only do so much, you know. But so that's why he didn't get a pass from the Celestial there. But yeah, so it's like they have 24 hours before destruction, and it's not looking good at the current moment in the books. Next we have Spider-Man number 10. So Peter has just kind of been through the paces here, and this is not Romita's artwork. I was about to say what's going on here. Don't know who that is. So, but yeah, so Peter's just been going through things. I don't know if people are getting, I don't know why they've got this flash on her here. But he has recently needed the help of Norman Osborn. The Vulture came to him and more or less almost killed him. And then Peter was able to get the Spider-Man suit that Green Goblin was working on. And he used that to basically come back and escape with his life. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. Once again, don't like the messing with Mary Jane and Peter's relationship stuff, but as far as Spider-Man and the villain actions have been great. Now we have X-Men number 15. This is not a tie-in, it looks like, so that's interesting. But yeah, the previous ones, they've been dealing with all of that Judgment Day stuff. So I would assume this is just kind of, it looks like a hollowed out Sentinel. That's crazy. So this looks like it's just them dealing with some aftermath here. But it looks well drawn, so that's always a plus. And surprisingly, we get some Ghost Rider. So, and then finally we have the Zero War number 5. This wraps up the Fortnite Marvel story, and naturally it ends with a cliffhanger. So, but there's a nice code for a not Hulkbuster Iron Man suit. And then if you bought all of these and used all the codes, you get a free loading screen, I believe is what it was. And this nice Secret War homage cover is cool. So I got these, and then my final thing This is volume 5. You'll get your nice pizza there. And most of these books now I paid too much for this, but at one point this book was listed for $400. I got it for just over $2. There's a few left for that, but yeah, since these are all out of print, they have decided to just really put people through the paces if they want to read these stories. So it sucks, but I'm so glad this is literally the last piece I needed for my Retro Turtles run. So I'm glad I have it. And I'm hard pressed to make that type of same mistake again. I do have another crucial, bigger book coming too. Hopefully I'll be able to show that off on the next haul. So, yeah, even though this finishes out like the City at War run, I don't think any of this stuff is actually Eastman anymore. This is all Jim Lawson's work, I believe. So Eastman and Laird, they probably still did some plotting in it. But as far as the actual contents, this is all Jim Lawson art, I believe. So yeah, it's just nice to finally have it. Yeah, I just double backed, so yeah, it looked like it was all Jim Lawson, but that's gonna do it for today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, and as always, you all have a super slumber. Thanks. Bye.